Hello and welcome back to S.T.A.L.K.E.R OGSE. Well, it's been quite a while since the last video. Too long, really. But there is a reason for this. I had a bit of a computer hardware problem. It all started when I attempted to overclock the CPU slightly further than it already was by only 100 megahertz. And I increased one other value, so it's only two values that I changed, and the other value was very, very slightly adjusting the millivolts. And the values I changed were less than what the instructional video was telling me to, so I was very careful. And the video that I was following on YouTube was a perfectly valid video by a very good channel. But my motherboard or my system did not like it. So it corrupted Windows, and although Windows still worked for a while, it gradually became worse and worse. And on, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday this week, I started, the reinstallation process. It's been a very long time since I've done a reinstall of Windows, so it's not all bad. But it does mean that some of the footage that I had, luckily not much, in S.T.A.L.K.E.R, has been completely lost. But as I say, not very much. It's only about an hour's worth of footage, so nothing game-breaking from a viewer's perspective. However, I have lost all the remaining footage for Deus Ex Revision, which doesn't matter much really in terms of people watching, but in terms of, I wanted to complete it. I wanted to, finish a gameplay series that I'd started and finish a possible walkthrough for people. So that's gone. So sad to get to the last, but what, 1 or 2 videos of an entire series and then it ends. So that's the state of play. So here I am back again, having to reconfigure all the settings, and it's taken me a while to get things back to where they were approximately, so I hope things sound okay and look okay. And what I wanted to do was just come up to the top of this building and just try from a perspective to show you what I've done. It may pay me to go to a taller building and get up higher so I can point out what I've done, but basically what I have done is let's just stop and look at the PDA. Right, I still haven't found the master, or if I have, I haven't killed him. It may have been, I'm not sure if it was in the last video, but I did fight a controller that seemed tougher than previous ones, so it may well have been the master. But this particular quest here, bring all the found anomalous household items, so obviously I have found them. It doesn't seem to mention it anywhere. But I did find all of the, like plates, cups and spoons and things. Let's take a look at the inventory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it was 6 items I found. I did find an artifact called the Midas artifact, which was very, very heavy, unsurprisingly. It was 60 kilos. And in theory worth 5 million rubles. So that would be something that I'd like to come back and collect. And I did go to 1 or 2 areas that looked a bit different from what you saw previously, so it's a slight shame, but you haven't really missed anything too great. So I'm still in the Dead City, I'm still walking around trying to find the master, just generally explore, and that's what I'll be doing in this video. So there was nothing much in this particular area. Apart from, I think, say there was a scientist over in one of these buildings, but nothing significant on them. I'll talk about where I've come and gone as I walk around the Dead City in between fighting for my life. So I think that's the way I came into the Dead City. Back there, you can see my crosshair. far ahead in that direction was where the safe hiding place was, where I took that guy that I rescued from, I think, that building. So yeah, I've basically... Let's just get myself together. I've been through there, I've done that building. I think I've done those in the distance, which probably was up to where I got to last time on the channel. I think I've done bits and pieces of this. I've done quite a bit of the Dead City, but I think I've done that over there. Not quite sure about this direction though. So I'm really not too sure how much longer I'm going to spend in the Dead City. Let's just make a save. I'm very grateful to actually even get this game working, because when I backed up the game data and everything, the save games, it wasn't immediately apparent exactly where the save game folder had to go. So I did start to get a bit worried that there would be no more OGSE, and, you know, from a personal point of view, I wanted to play it for my own enjoyment as well, not just for the channel. But there was no way I was going to start from right from the beginning straight away. It would have been quite a long wait before I had done. That was the case. When I started playing the game again, you know, testing it before recording, the performance was just diabolical. I was getting like... what? I was getting very low FPS, I'll just leave it there. Right, so this is where I came in, isn't it? To the... Dead City, is it? Or is it on the way back to where the safe house is? I'm getting a bit turned around now. Bloodsucker. It's rather interesting that the first creature I fire is the good old bloodsucker. First creature I come into contact with. But it looks like there's nothing else here. Getting a little bit turned around where I am. Let's just check the map. Oh right, no, we're going in the direction of the army warehouses, so I want to go back this way. Somewhere in there, according to the data from the scientist PDA, is a source of radiation. Okay, let's head for that then. That sounds very healthy. Let's go there. Probably safer to go via the outskirts of the city. In theory, anyway. Might pay to get something a bit more suitable ready in case of action. So yeah, I was very surprised that just 100 megahertz change on the CPU, despite having a ridiculously good cooler on it, and fraction change in terms of millivolts, made such a blunder of my system's health. I was quite concerned at one point. I wasn't sure whether it was a knackered Windows installation disk, a knackered optical drive, or a bad SSD, or even the motherboard, which would have been really bad news. And the last thing I want to do is shell out, spend more money on something that I really can't afford to. So whether this video is going to be a short one or a lengthy one, I don't know. It's just a kind of a case of touching base and just putting something out there so that the series doesn't come to you know, a grinding halt. I went in a lot of these other areas after I last uploaded, and yeah, there was some interesting moments, but nothing that different that you've missed. Zombies and dogs by the looks of it. I'm getting a side dogs, that's why. Okay, let's get out of here. No, gonna die. Those things are lethal. It's funny, when I'm shooting it sounds so loud, but the general game sounds in other respects are slightly quiet, so I might just alter the game volume a little bit, seeing if that helps protect my ears. And we've got a crash. Wonderful. Right, so I'm back after a crash. Let's just check the map so I know which direction to go in. I think it was there, yeah, so roughly a little bit north of west, I think. I'll go in this direction. It's no idea which area's safer than another, but I'll eventually get there. I think I have heard that there are slightly more crashes in this area than perhaps experienced in others. Not sure how true that is, but from what I've read, it seems to be not uncommon. So I still have to kill the master in this area, which actually, as I'm speaking to you now, I think he might be over in this direction. You know, the controller that was very hard to kill. I've just got to... starting to come back to me now. It's where you really could do with a scoped weapon or some heavy-duty explosives. Yeah, I don't know whether I had this in the last video, but I found this spatial anomaly, or what I thought was a spatial anomaly. But it's actually nothing. You just walk into it and nothing happens. I think I found an extra anomalous bolt there. I remember going down there, but there wasn't anything in there really. Alright, I'm getting a little bit turned around yet again, so just keep going in this direction. I remember going in there because this was the first building that I checked out when I came back from the safe house, which is distantly in the distance. Ah, yeah, that radiation, that points to an area which is here, isn't it? And that's where I think, just a hunch, that's where the master is. Possibly. Possibly. Don't quote me on that. It's actually nice to get some colour back when you walk just outside the city. Ah, that radiation, that's... Do I have to go around that fence or carry on in this direction? I don't know. I much point keep shooting them because you know another one's going to turn up. Yeah, I can hear those dogs in the distance. I want to avoid that. Okay, I've gone past that pocket of radiation. It's really weird to try and get all your settings back right when you've, you know, had system instability or whatever, and when you go to load something up, settings have changed or something's updated, it becomes a bit confusing. You can't quite remember everything. It took me a couple of days to get my head around it, really, just getting all the updates and patches and whatnot. Right, I seem to be missing this. Unless it's underground, possibly. I mean, do I have to go here? Is it relevant? Not in here, is it? Like a PDA lying around somewhere. Starting to think I've got the wrong end of the stick. Unless it's a tunnel leading into the side of the hill, which looks to be the case. This is possibly where the master is then. Right, make a hard save. Damn, the radiation is too strong. My protection is not enough to go down there. It's necessary to talk with the Colonel. He may be able to think of something. Do I go back now or carry on looking for the master? How far away is the... That is the lair of the master. Okay, so we have located the master in my usual roundabout, bumbling Inspector Clouseau fashion. You can sod off. I don't need you. But I'm going to head back to the what the... Poltergeists, but they sound different. They look different. Don't appear to be going after me. I'm just going to head back to the... Something tells me these encounters are possibly scripted, I'm not sure. Bloody hell, there's loads of them. Got loads of shotgun shells though. Would be nice to explore around there, but it... Oh, there's someone down there. I think I will. Just have to keep an eye on my health. Oh, right, you can't loot that guy, unfortunately. So yeah, this may be a fairly short video just so I can quickly edit and render and get something uploaded within a reasonable, within a reasonable time frame. So it's not going to be as lengthy as the last one by any stretch. Oh, so choppy. Bloody hell. And that's when I really wish I had an i7 or a you know, a Ryzen 5 6 core at least. But oh well, one day. No, it's this way. Alright, let's go back.